Francisco 49ers are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend. Following a tough loss on the road yesterday, the Niners lost to the Atlanta Falcons 28-14. With us now to talk Niner football is Stephanie Sanchez, who's the host of 49 Carats podcast. Stephanie, good morning. That press conference after the game yesterday, Kyle Shanahan straight out said the play that stuck out to him the most was when Marcus Mariota, it was like 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13. You know the play. Right before the second half, he ran for that first down and crushed the Niners defense even more than it had already been crushed. What do you think about that?
I think that play certainly did have an effect on the game, but I feel it was a bit of a deflection from Kyle Shanahan because ultimately I felt like it was the offense that underperformed in this one. And you mentioned that play happened before the half, and I really felt like it was the second half where the defense kind of was able to give the offense some opportunities. They forced 3 straight punts after the Falcons went up 2 scores, and offense was not able to get anything going. So I kind of felt like that was a bit of deflection on Kyle Shanahan's part.
Yeah, and also, okay, so let's talk about the offense in a second, because I do want to talk about the defense first, because I think that Atlanta Falcons' game plan was they knew that all these defensive stars were out, 49ers playing with next man up, right? And they just pounded the ball. And, they just pounded the football and kept running, and that gave Marcus Mariota time to occasionally have these big pass plays. And, unless the 49ers get healthy, other teams are going to do the same thing, don't you think?
Yeah, exactly. And Mariota, he only dropped back 17 times in this game. And it's no secret the Falcons love to run the football. It's a very, pound the football kind of philosophy for them. And it just felt like the 49ers defense weren't prepared for it like you would have hoped they'd be. Mariota himself had 6 rushes for 51 yards in the rushing touchdown. So I think the 49ers were definitely missing Kinlaw and Armstead in this one.
And we're watching that Jeff Wilson fumble, which was a punch in the gut for the 49ers early. He fumbles the ball, and they pick it up and run it right back to the house. So you're down early, 14-0. Then Brandon Ayuk has a pretty good 4.5 minutes when he comes in, and Jimmy Garoppolo connects to him, and pretty soon the game is even. You're thinking, okay, this game can be salvaged with the 49ers offense. But then what happened after that, Stephanie?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I felt like the offense just kind of stalled a little bit. And I'll actually say Jimmy Garoppolo had a good game. I felt like he did enough to win this game for the offense. There was just a bunch of missed opportunities. You think about the drop from Ray McCloud. That happened in the first half, I believe. But then the drop by Charlie Warner, those 2 were drive killers. And then also there was the miscommunication with George Kittle in the end zone where Jimmy was kind of pointing over to him he wanted to throw it to the back corner, and Kittle just kind of missed it. So missed opportunities. There was also in the fourth quarter, there was a pass play to Brandon Ayuk that was negated by a penalty. So at every turn when they wanted to get something going, there was just something in the way, that killed drives.
Steph, I think you're right. I think Jimmy G did have a good game. I think that that pass to Ray was obviously a game changer, and he just dropped it. It was right where it needed to be. But let's talk about the injuries, because the 49ers are going on year 3 of being injured, I would say, more than other teams. I mean, every football and injuries go hand in hand, right? But why do the 49ers have more injuries, it seems, than other teams?
It's tough to say. I mean, that's been a question that even the 49ers themselves haven't been able to answer, right? You mentioned this has now been a thing for multiple seasons, and so it defies all logic, I think. But the 49ers, this is something they have to figure it out, and unfortunately, it's not something that is often figured out during the season, right? At this point, they're just going to have to make do with what they have, and it's going to be next man up for, the majority of this season, and you just hope after the bye week guys can get healthy.
All right, Stephanie Sanchez, I like your podcast. I know you're going to expand on all this. Next week, it's probably one of the most mobile quarterbacks in the NFL right now. We'll see what happens there. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Sal.
We're sticking with sports right now. The defending NBA champion Golden State